Hey guys, it's Crystal, and welcome back to my channel. Long time no see. I apologize for not posting these past 2 Saturdays. I needed to take a little break from my channel just because I felt like I was in a creative slump. Well, actually, I was in a creative slump. I really couldn't think of any ideas or really couldn't think of what to talk about with you guys in terms of like faith stuff, scripture stuff. My ideas just kind of fled. I felt like I had a creative block. So I needed to take a little break and just kind of chill, not focus on my channel for a little bit and relax and get myself into the word a little bit more. But I'm back, obviously, with this new video. Glad to see that the video that I posted about Sound of Freedom is doing really well. Thank you all so much for supporting that and for leaving your comments and for liking it. When I posted that video, I had no idea that it was gonna blow up the way it did. So thank you so much for that. With that being said, today's video I am going to talk about if you don't know where to begin in the Bible, especially if you're a new Christian and you're struggling to figure out where to start in the Bible. I'm going to give you, I'd say, like 5 scriptures that you can start. So that way it feels less intimidating to open up the Bible and to read the word. And I'm most likely going to do a part 2 to this video sometime in the near future, because obviously all the scriptures in the Bible are very important, but I want to make it less intimidating for those who have never picked up the Bible before. If you're new to scripture and you're trying to get into the word and you're trying to read it and dive deep and learn from it, it can be very intimidating. And honestly, with so many books in the Bible, it's hard to decide where to start. So for any new believer, any new Christian that's trying to dive into the word, I've been told by many people, and I did this myself, start in the book of John. It is about Jesus's life and his missionary. Yeah, right? Missionary? His ministry, my bad. About his ministry for the last 3 years of his life leading to his death. It is very quick and relatively very easy to understand. Depending on which Bible version you get, whether it's the English Standard, the NLT, the Christian Standard Bible, whatever it may be, the book of John talks about Jesus' ministry and the miracles he's done and everything leading up to his death and resurrection. Another book of the Bible that you can start reading in, and I feel that this is definitely an obvious, but you can start in the book of Genesis. The beginning of the story of humanity. It has the story of Adam and Eve in the garden, Noah's Ark, Joseph and his brothers, Joseph, the rainbow coat Joseph, the story of the Tower of Babel, and so many other stories are ingrained into this very first book of the Bible because it is the beginnings of humanity and everything from, like I said, from Adam and Eve in the garden to the fall of humanity, Noah's Ark, and then leading up to God freeing his people from slavery, which goes into Exodus, but I'm not going to talk about Exodus just yet. But I recommend, if you're looking to start somewhere, start at the beginning with Genesis. If you want something that's less heavy, because I do believe that Genesis has a lot of information to take in, so it can feel heavy. If you want something that's less heavy, the Book of Psalms is just full of hymns and poetry, and it's written by King David while he is on the run from King Saul, who is trying to murder him. So the Book of Psalms, like I said, is a collection of hymns and a collection of poetry, and each one is different. There's a lot of where David is crying out to the Lord during this hard time that he's going through. I mean, can you imagine running away from somebody who is trying to end your life? But there's also a lot of worship, a lot of praise, and a lot of thankfulness. The Book of Psalms is definitely used for making worship songs in the church, as well as very good examples on how to pray. If you don't know what to pray about, or you don't know how to pray at all, period, the Book of Psalms is a great reference point to figure out what to pray for. Like I said, a lot of heartache and hardship in these Psalms, a lot of crying out, but also a lot of thankfulness and a lot of praise. I've been going through the Book of Psalms this whole year, and I've found it very, very, very helpful during hard times, but also during amazing times. So the Book of Psalms is a great book in the Bible to get into. Yes, it has a lot of chapters in it. It is a very lengthy book in the Bible, but a lot of good stuff in it. Now, stepping away from the Old Testament and going into the New Testament again, the Book of Romans is a good book that talks about Jesus as our eternal salvation. It is one of the first books of the Bible that I read all the way through. I've actually read it all the way through 2 different times now, and each time I read it, I learn something new. I don't know, this book is just a really good starting point if you're new to scripture, because it's all about Jesus. It's all about God. If I remember correctly, the Book of Romans mentions God 130 something times. If I remember correctly, I'll put the number somewhere around here once I look it up. But the Book of Romans is all about God. It's all about Jesus. And so the Book of Romans is a good starting point to learn about Jesus being our eternal salvation. And lastly, the book of Philippians is all about finding the joy in suffering. Paul, who is an apostle of Jesus, wrote the book of Philippians while he was in prison. And yet, in his circumstances, he found joy. He found joy in Jesus Christ, in everything that he was going through, despite the fact that he was shackled up and in prison awaiting his trial. He was joyful. He was happy. This book of the Bible is known as one of the happiest books. So the book of Philippians is another great place to start. And obviously there are many more books of the Bible, many places where you can start, but I don't want to put it all in one video. So I will definitely be making a part 2 in the near future where I explain other areas, other books of the Bible that you can start if you're a new believer. With that being said, that is it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Please give it a like, leave me a comment down below, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll definitely see you guys next week with a brand new video. Bye!